Hi there and welcome, thanks for stopping by. Today I have a Project Life process video that I did. This is the first week in my 2016 album. As you can probably tell, it's not exactly a week one layout. I don't exactly Project Life via weeks. I generally do events, I guess you could say. I tend to take a lot of photos when we do certain things or go certain places, and I like to record most of those photos. So when I Project Life the event or the thing that we've done, rather than individual weeks and snippets of things we did during that week. So this is the first layout in my 2016 album. This is New Year's Day. We were hanging out in the pool and my sister and her family rocked up and decided to jump in too. We had a pool party for New Year's Eve, but the weather wasn't exactly great. The weather was beautiful on New Year's Day, so we decided to enjoy the pool. So all I've done is just lay out my photos and lay out my cards. I like to see the entire double spread all next to each other with the photos and the cards all laid out. And then I work on one side at a time. For this layout, I've used some cards from the Heidi Swapp Picturesque edition because I just think they went with the whole pool theme. For my title card, I really liked that shape in the middle of that card, but if you have a look at it, the water is actually sort of going across the card in the wrong direction, and I wanted it the other way, so it actually looked like a pool, I guess you could say. So what I did is I went and got a blank 4x6 and just cut the shape that I wanted out of the other card and just attached it on. Now I have no problem cutting up my cards for elements that I like. Some people do. Me, I'm not fussed by it. I actually like doing it. Gets more use out of my cards and I just like the look it gives. So now I'm just getting my title together with those Amy Tan thickers. Now, am I the only person that does this? Surely I'm not. I tend to get all the letters for my title and put them on my arm or on my hand while I'm getting it all together. Am I the only person that does this? Tell me there's someone else out there that does this as well. So just fiddling around with the thickers, putting it in the right place where I want it. I fiddle around with that for a bit. You'll notice I fiddle around a lot with most of my cards until I'm happy with what I actually want to put on them. You'll also notice that I've put the card back even though it looks very far from finished. It's not finished yet, but I tend to just work on things bit by bit. I do come back to it and add a few more embellishments and things before I call it done, but for now I'm just putting it back up there and moving on till I decide what I really want to do with it. This is just a picture of us hanging out in the pool, which happens to be exactly what I call it pretty much. As you can see, I am putting the thickers straight on the photo. Doesn't bother me doing this at all. All my photos are digitally backed up anyway, and I just like being able to embellish my photos. So now just embellishing that photo with a Heidi Swap wood veneer word. Stapling that straight onto the photo. Again, doesn't bother me doing that. I'm happy with that. Just going through my tiny word stickers looking for something else to put on that photo. I love my tiny word stickers, and I love that Simple Stories have certain collections of them. Very cool. These ones that I decide to use are actually a printable that I got offline. It was a download that I saved to my computer, and then when I wanted to use them, just printed it with my Picturemate, and voila, very own tiny word stickers. So adding a few Kazar gems there and calling it done. And yes, you will notice there's things all over my desk. This is what my desk looks like pretty much all of the time. I have a pretty decent sized desk, but I have the smallest amount of space to actually do my layout because it's usually always full of just stuff, random stuff. I have a very messy desk, but it's the way I like it. Organized chaos, I call it. Moving on to the next card, just a random journal card that I'm going to do some handwritten journaling on. Just some tiny alphas to literally write the word day. And then I add my journaling with a Sharpie. I mostly handwrite my journaling, just gets it done quick and easy on the card. Saves me having to mess around with my computer. I don't have a typewriter, although I am on the lookout for one. But it gets it done, gets it in there. And also, you know, my kids will see my handwriting, messy as it is, one day when they're older. This is just a picture of my youngest sister floating around in the pool, just lounging around. I decided to use a die cut that I had floating around on my desk. I think I got it in a random kit once. So just poking out the pieces of word that are in there that aren't needed and then just sticking it straight to the photo. Just trying to decide what I want to put on this next photo. I don't generally go in with a plan when I start scrapping, so I do tend to fiddle around a lot until I decide what I want to put on and what I'm happy with. Ah yes, and then out come the enamel dots. No stash is complete without enamel dots. So back to that title card, I decided to look through my basket of roller phrase stamps. I love these stamps, I think they're fantastic. My collection is ever growing. And I decided to just stamp some random words on there related to summer and summer days, I guess. Those stickers just did not want to stay down, they were frustrating me, something shocking. And then out come the enamel dots again, a few enamel dots, and then I think I call it done. So now just trying to decide what I want to put on this filler card in the top corner over here. No idea what I was going to do with it, so I'm just looking through my stash to see if anything appeals to me. Thought about putting tiny word stickers on. But then I decided to go with the thongs. This actually turned out to be one of my favourite cards. It was very simple, but it just looked really good and went with the whole pool theme, I guess you could say. And that's one side done. Moving on to the other side of the layout now. picked up these hearts, not really having any idea what I was going to do with them. And this card ends up being my absolute favourite on the entire spread. It just looks great, and I love how it comes together. It's my favourite card. This is my lovely stamping fail here. I go to stamp underwater camera straight onto the card and I misspell it. I get distracted by my son, who pokes his head in a second, and stamp a B instead of a D. So what I do is I stamp it on some cardstock and then just cover it up. So I want to put this good times up on this card somewhere, but I just want to put something underneath it, but I don't want to use washi tape again. So what I do is I look in the never-ending pile of cards that are on my desk and find this ampersand card that I like the colour of and the texture, and I just trim the side of it and use that as a strip underneath my embellishment. Like I said, it doesn't bother me cutting up my cards. I think it was a 4x4 card anyway, and I don't generally use 4x4 cards, so I would have just trimmed it down to a 3x4 anyway. And now just popping it up on some phone tape and then adding some enamel dots, and that's it for the layout. I add my journaling off camera before I put it in my album, and yeah, that's it. I'm done. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out, and I hope you come back for more process videos later on. Thanks, bye.